Good evening. 5 days ago, Lawrence lost its post office, and on Friday its bank will close. The towns fought both closures and lost. Gaynor Smith went to Lawrence today to find out how the townsfolk are coping.
Lawrence's new welcome sign stands ironically alongside the post office that closed at Easter. The new postie made her first deliveries today, so the mail still gets through. And new private boxes hang outside the store's postal agency, where phone bills and car registrations show New Zealand Post is still here. But with Postbank gone and the BNZ about to close, it's banking that's the problem.
We don't want to be running up and down to Milton or Balclutha or wherever 2 or 3 days a week because it becomes too expensive.
Lawrence is still sore at the BNZ, not at the 4 local staff who've chosen not to relocate and will be jobless on Friday night, but at higher-ups who pulled the plug. An action committee did the rounds of all banks. Trust Bank put a cash flow machine in the store, but the existing bank, which got a great start here in the gold rush days, they say, did nothing.
I think that in a way that we're unfortunate the Bank of New Zealand was the bank that we had in Lawrence. If the others had had that facility there, I think they would have adjusted. They would have changed their procedures in such a way that they could keep all that business that they had.
The council's interested in the BNZ building. The post office goes up for tender soon. Business people may swap cheques for cash amongst each other. And some hope they've lost only the battle, not the war.
Masses of earth and gravel were cleared from State Highway 1 near Queenstown this morning in double quick time. A landslip had completely blocked the road, but a passing contractor was in the right place at the right time. Complete with earth-moving rig, the contractor had the road open to one-way traffic in an hour. The whole road was clear by 8:30. This is the third slip here in the past few months, and a more permanent solution to the problem is now being looked at. For those old-timers on their way home from an Invercargill rally, it was just like the Kingston Road of old days. Better communication between Japanese tourists and Queenstown people is on the cards with the launching of a new paper in the town. Printed in Japanese, it's designed to give locals and tourists a better understanding of each other. Bernard Buck's been to Queenstown for the launching of the Lakes Connection.
In keeping with the flavour of the newspaper, the launching was held at Queenstown's only Japanese restaurant, and the paper's editor was on hand to give it a push. The paper's created a lot of interest, especially with Japanese working and living in Queenstown. Editor, sole reporter and advertising executive Kirsten Anderson saw the first copies of the Lakes Connection only hours before it was launched. She says the idea is to give Japanese tourists the opportunity to learn more about us and our way of life.
It will provide the Queenstown community with an opportunity to communicate with the Japanese people.
And the sort of events the paper will cover.
On the front page, we've got the latest sensation in Queenstown, which is the bungee jumping, and a lot of young Japanese are going out and jumping off the bridge.
Right.
And then we have a paraponting story, because it's very active sport in Japan at the moment. As Japanese people love pavlovas, we've got a pavlova story.
And a recipe?
Yes, and a recipe too, so they can make that in Tokyo.
The job of processing the Japanese translation of Kirsten's copy is done on a specially designed processor. It's then sent to Christchurch for printing. The first edition is for 3,000 copies. The plan is to distribute it to all major hotels in Queenstown, Wanaka and Te Anau, and to each tourist coming into Queenstown Airport. In one early bonus, 300 copies are being distributed to passengers on an inaugural flight from Japan to New Zealand.
Still in Queenstown, a team of top New Zealand rafters have gone into training for what they believe will be the rafting event of their lives. The team's been invited to the Soviet Union by the Soviet Peace Fund to take part in an international rafting rally. Bernard found them on the Shotover River.
Over the next 4 weeks, these men will carry their raft up the Shotover River past the relics of gold mining days. They're in training for the toughest event of their lives, an international rafting rally in Russia. It's only about a month away, so the South Island members of the 10-man team have been out on the Shotover near Queenstown gearing up for the event. This is only the second time the event's been held, and the idea is to bring together about 200 rafters from 15 countries to compete on some of the best whitewater in the world.
I think there's 32 teams coming, 7 from America, 10 Russian teams.
But what will you get out of it as a team?
We'll have a chance to meet other teams, to put New Zealand on the map as a rafting nation and further perhaps our tourism.
One problem for the New Zealand team is that 5 of its members are from the North Island. But South Islanders Jeff Hunt, Bo Rapley, Chris Duffy and Phil Dawson are looking forward to the event with great expectations.
It's an amazing opportunity really to go somewhere where not many foreigners have been before.
I think it's a good chance to see the real Russia.
The whitewood is the main thing.
So just how good is this New Zealand team?
Well, that's yet to be tried. We have races in New Zealand, but the chance to compete against international teams has never been done before, so it's an unknown factor at this stage.
One factor that is known is that even though the South Islanders in the team have done plenty of rafting overseas, they know little or nothing of the Russian course. But win or lose, it's an opportunity to compete on overseas waters and try out their skills in an international field.
In the Mackenzie country, the dust is settling after New Zealand's biggest off-road rally. It was a 250-kilometre course over rough tracks from Twizel through to Ribbonwood station near Omarama and back again. Hundreds of hopefuls from all over New Zealand tried their skills, but far from all of them finished the course.
It's 6:30 on a crisp Twizel morning. 160 machines wait for the sunrise and their owners.
You're looking forward to that? Oh yeah, been here before, you know what it's about. What's the course like out there?
Oh, well, I've only just done the practice stage, but it's real dusty, rough, heaps of rocks. I got a puncher just in the touring stage sort of thing, so it's real rough.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
2, 3 or 4 wheeled, it's all in together in a race that'll take 8 hours. And then it's on to Mount Diadem on Ribbonwood Station, climbing tracks 1,500 metres up. In wetter weather, the track would be a mud bath. Even so, some competitors find the going rough. Prospects of the lunchtime pit stop at Ribbonwood lead to some all-out competition.
The way over here, and I thought, well, I've got to give you a go, so I swung the 200 metre line there and took him. I just went over a ditch, I could see the ditch and went.
And what's the course been like so far?
It's been pretty rough. I just blew a tyre out, unbelievable. Just went over a jump and the arse went up and went out to a side and I landed on a rock and I did half the mountain course on a flat tyre.
Then the final fast run back to Twizel along Pylon Straight, and the dust is choking. Dusty? Very. And big rocks.
No better pastime than this, I reckon.
Simon Williams with that report, and the local who showed them how it was done was Oamaru's Andy Ruddenclaw, who won the Class A in the rally for the second time. And now, just before we have a look at today's 3 o'clock temperatures, or as you're having a look at them, a correction to our earlier item on the mudslide. It was, in fact, State Highway 6 near Kingston and not State Highway 1. Apologies for that. Weather fairly cold right around the region today, predicting a high tomorrow for Invercargill of 15 degrees and Dunedin 15 degrees. The highs today were recorded in Wanaka and Alexandra, both managing 16. We'll be back tomorrow night. Good night.